Gabriel Jesus, from Premier League champion to an injury-plagued question mark. Now, all of a sudden, Palmeiras wants him back. Should Arsenal really let him go? Unless you're living under a rock with no access to internet or cable TV, you must have read or heard somewhere that Gabriel Jesus is potentially on his way back to Brazil. Gabriel Jesus remains one of Mikel Arteta's marquee signings, joining the club for £45 million from Manchester City at the beginning of the 22-23 season. We had lost our captain in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, gave Lacazette a shot. Lacazette was terrible, in all honesty. And then Ketia managed to get a couple of games, but he was never going to be the striker Arsenal needed. Yes, he had a couple of goals in the few games he played in the running of the 21-22 campaign, where we narrowly missed out on fifth place to Tottenham, But at the start of the next campaign, Arsenal signed Gabriel Jesus for £45 million, and the fans were very happy. Gabriel Jesus began his career in Palmeiras and made a big money move to Manchester City in 2016-2017 season. After playing in 6 seasons for the Citizens, scoring 95 goals in 236 appearances, he made the move to Arsenal. And we all know how he started his career in the club like a house on fire. His debut was quite good, but he came to the fore when Arsenal played against Leicester, where he scored those 2 goals, and I think he gave 2 assists. And we were like, whoa, this is what we've needed for quite a while. After cooking in the early part of his Arsenal career, he decided to follow his country, Brazil, to the World Cup in Qatar, and he suffered a knee injury that sidelined him for a considerable chunk of that campaign. Arsenal had to make do with Nketiah yet again, and of course, Leandro Trossard, who also came in January that season, yes, as a false 9. But of course, Jesus came back sometime in, I think it was February or so, against Fulham. But at the end of that campaign, he scored 11 goals in 33 games for Arsenal. As the seasons progressed, Gabriel Jesus continued to suffer niggling injuries, thigh, muscle, whatnot, even hamstring at some point. But in January 2025, when Arsenal played against Manchester United in the FA Cup, Gabriel Jesus suffered a terrible ACL injury, and that has sidelined him till the end of the year. So at the time of this recording, Gabriel Jesus is training alone on grass, but according to Arteta and other projections we have, I don't think he's going to play till at least December or January at best case, which brings us to the latest information we've been hearing. Reports say that Palmeiras are preparing a move and are clearly interested in him. Palmeiras president Leila Pereira has decided to put her cards on the table in what the future is for a striker in their team. She was asked in an interview on whether she wanted Gabriel Barbosa, who is currently at Cruzeiro, or Gabriel Jesus, who is at Arsenal, of course. And her answer was unequivocal. Gabriel Jesus, and I'll say more. Soon you're coming back home, Gabriel. One day you return. So she had basically opened the door for a move for Gabriel Jesus. But we're currently not in the transfer break because obviously we are in international football with Arsenal players cooking everywhere as you'd expect. One day Saka doing the Lord's work. But the key thing is this. And in January, a potential exists for Arsenal to sell Gabriel Jesus. We bring me to the discussion on today's video. Should Arsenal sell Gabriel Jesus or should Arsenal keep him? If you're enjoying this video and what we'll do on All About Arsenal, don't forget to like and subscribe and stick with me as we discuss about why Arsenal should sell and why Arsenal should keep him. So, why should Arsenal sell Gabriel Jesus? There are very strong arguments for cashing in on Gabriel Jesus right now. He is one of the biggest earners at the club. I think over £250,000 a week, which was a good contract he got when he came from Man City. But in all honesty, it doesn't look like as if he's justifying that type of pay right now. So if Arsenal sell Gabriel Jesus to Palmeiras, that salary will be taken off our wage cap, which is good. Then, of course, there have been the injuries. Arsenal fans can attest to the fact that we have not really enjoyed Gabriel Jesus as a player for the team. In all the campaigns he has been with us, he has suffered one injury or another. Let's take a quick glance at his transfer market injury profile. I love that website, Transfer Market. It's very, very good. This is not a plug for them, obviously, but Anytime I want to look at injury information and some key data, I always delve into that website. So let's look at this together. 2023 season is about the knee injury, which was the one that happened when he was at Brazil. And as you can see, it has both the Brazil and the Arsenal logo on it. He missed 17 games, a total of 100 days. And when he eventually recovered, obviously, sometime in March, he now continued another campaign. That's why he scored 11 goals for us. The next season, which was 23-24, where we went all the way to the final day of the Premier League campaign, challenging with Man City for the title, Gabriel Jesus suffered a couple of injuries that campaign as well. He missed 4 games between August. Oh, yeah. That was early August when he went for the minor surgery. Yeah. I think I was saying about the fact that he had a good preseason, but he had to go for a corrective surgery. We had gone for Benjamin Sesko around that period, but Sesko chose not to stay with us. So I decided to trust only Kai Havertz as his key striker with the hope that Gabriel Jesus was going to come back very soon. He came back sometime in late August, early September. Then in October, he suffered a hamstring injury. This was when he had picked up some form in Champions League. I think he had scored like 4 goals in 5 Champions League games or so. When he was about to play Sevilla or thereabout, he suffered this injury. This injury in his hamstring kept him out for 27 days, and he missed 7 games for Arsenal and Brazil because, yes, if I remember clearly, it was an international break during that period, and he missed it. Then, of course, he had a knee injury sometime in January when he missed a game. Had another knee injury in February when he missed 5 games and was out for 23 days. At the start of the new campaign, which was the next season, he suffered a groin injury that kept him out for 2 days. The cruciate ligament tear that happened on the 13th of January against Manchester United, where he had been out for 354 days, missing 54 matches. Bro, he has struggled for consistent fitness since the knee surgery he did in the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, and he has missed basically the entire campaign this season. The tail end of last season, when he had managed to pick some form, I think he has scored a hat-trick. Was it against Crystal Palace or thereabouts? Yeah, he has scored Crystal Palace 5 goals in 2 games, and he scored a goal against Brentford. We're like, oh yeah, Jesus is back. And let's not forget that he had gone on a 35-match goal drought before scoring against Preston North End. So we're struggling for both fitness and form for Gabriel Jesus. Speaking of form, it was terrible. The goal drought continued. He was all about playing for the team, attacking, holding up play, but he was signed to score goals for Arsenal. And in all honesty, the goals were hard to come by. Gabriel Jesus struggled in the league. Even in the cup games he played, he struggled as well. And Arsenal had to rely on the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard to come up with the goods because our number 9, in all honesty, was not scoring. Kai Havertz was actually signed as a replacement for Granit Xhaka at the start of the 23-24 campaign. But because of the fact that Gabriel Jesus kept stinking up the place in attack, Arteta had no choice but to deploy Kai Havertz as the de facto number 9, and Kai Havertz had scoring goals. Him scoring goals meant that Jesus had to stay on the bench. And of course, he was coming on as a sub, and each game he piled up, the drought continued. Finally, why should Arsenal sell Gabriel Jesus? The competition. As at the time of this recording, Arsenal has signed Mr. Gyökeres. We still have Kai Havertz, who was always ahead of Gabriel Jesus in the pecking order. And with those 2 renowned forwards in the team, having a third wheel might be a player too many. If you look at the current setup at Arsenal, it's basically two players in every position. The goal, Raya and Kepa. Right back, White and Timber. Left back, Louis Kelly and Calafiori. We had Zinchenko, we had Tierney. Both had to go. Centre back, Hinkapie, Mosquera, Gabriel, Saliba. Number 6 position, Zubimendi, Nogard. Remember, Thomas Partey and Jorginho had to leave as well. Box-to-box midfield, or the left 8 row, Declan Rice, Mikel Merino. The right 8 row, Odegaard, Issa Nwaneri. Right wing, Bukayo Saka, Noni Madueke, left wing, Gabriel Martinelli, Ibrahim Eze, Leandro Trossard, and of course attack. We're speaking about that, Gyökeres and Havertz. So having someone like Gabriel Jesus to add to what we already have, bearing in mind that he's a very high salary earner in the club, and two, he will not play enough games for the team. It makes sense to just cash in on him. And if Palmeiras comes for him, obviously it will not be the 45 million pounds that we signed him for, but we'll still get some money nonetheless. Selling Gabriel Jesus now, which is when I say now, I mean in January, would reduce Arsenal's wage pressure and of course open up a slot for another young striker that the club can potentially sign in the future. Now let's talk about why Arsenal should keep Gabriel Jesus. If we're being honest with ourselves, Gabriel Jesus brings something unique to Arsenal's attack: energy, pressing, and experience. As at the time of this recording, there's no player in the Arsenal squad that has the experience of winning the Premier League. It used to be Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko, but Zinchenko has gone to Nottingham Forest, and of course, as we know, it's either he gets retained by them or Arsenal releases him on a free transfer because he has a year left on his deal. Gabriel Jesus is the only player within the club that has won the Premier League, and boy, he has won the Premier League. 2017-18 season, one Premier League. 18-19, two Premier Leagues. 2021, three Premier Leagues. 21-22, four Premier Leagues. He has also won one FA Cup. He has won three FL Cups. He has won two Community Shields. He has won the Olympic gold medal with Brazil. And he has won the Copa America with Brazil as well. So this is someone that has that mentality of winning trophies. And in scenarios when things get hard for our team, a player like Gabriel Jesus will know what needs to be done when the chips are down. We know the energy he brings in attack. Gabriel Jesus is what I classify as a bush baby. He is very vibrant in attack. Holds up play, takes on his defenders, and he's also very good creatively. We all know how he has racked up a lot of assists as goals for the team. And that's someone that can add dynamism to Arsenal's attack. We have Victor Gyökeres currently in the team, a goal machine who is a bully, soaks opposition defenders with lots of pressure, takes them out to allow other teammates to play well. You have Kai Havertz, who loves to hold up play, very good in the air, good in finishing as well. Then you have Gabriel Jesus, who can give us his energy, his pressing, and his experience. So having Gabriel Jesus in the team will add to the amazing depth we already have as a team. Gyökeres, Havertz, Jesus. That was just awesome, in all shades of awesome, because it means that Arteta can decide to tweak his attacking lineup to what he sees fit. There might be some kind of games that he will use Gabriel Jesus for, there will be some kind of games that he will use Gyökeres for, there will be some kind of games he will use Havertz for. And that's a nightmare for position defenders because you don't know how to defend against Arsenal, because you don't know who's going to start. When he's fit, Gabriel Jesus is also a very complete forward. Very good at linking up play, very good at dragging defenders and creating space for Saka and Martinelli. Let's remember the 2023 season when Gabriel Jesus joined the club. Martinelli scored 15 goals. Why? Because one key part of Martinelli's success at Arsenal was the fact that Gabriel Jesus always went to the inside left channel and he dragged defenders with him, allowing Martinelli to have a couple of space in the central attack to score a couple of goals. Well, I've seen that happen this season again. And obviously, when Gyökeres is someone that can do that as well, Gabriel Jesus is elite at grabbing defenders because he's a ball carrier. He's someone that can actually hold up the ball and do something meaningful with it. And of course, create for his teammates. And when we have Gabriel Jesus in that kind of form that he showed in 2023, where he scored 11 goals for us, Martinelli and Saka benefited the most from that type of play. Gabriel Jesus is also a vocal leader and one of Arteta's most trusted players, especially during big games. Can you remember when Bukayo Saka's injury that he could not play against Man City in 23-24? Gabriel Jesus went to the right wing and he cooked. That game, I think Martinelli that scored the only goal of the game, 1-0. But having Gabriel Jesus in the team was a big plus. He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play at the center forward, and Arteta loves versatility. So having Gabriel Jesus in the team is going to be a big plus for us because we are already aware of how good he is It's not as if they're about to preach Gabriel Jesus to us. We have seen him play consistently, and we know that he's an excellent player, and that's something that cannot be traded as well. Remember, he's just 28. Which means that if he regains full fitness, Arsenal can have a top forward in their hands without having to spend a fortune. Gabriel Jesus is still very young. Yes, he has suffered an injury setback. Yes, he has had struggle with form from time to time. But we are very, very aware of how good he is and what he brings to the table. Now let's look at the tactical angle. We have spoken about why we should keep him. We have spoken about why we should sell him. But let's look at Gabriel Jesus from the eyes of Mikel Arteta. Our system demands flexibility. One key thing that killed us last season was the fact that Arsenal was very one-dimensional. Everybody knew what we were going to do. This season, that has changed. With the level of depth we now have, Arteta has been able to tweak his lineup to suit each opposition. When Arsenal played West Ham, our very last game before going to international break, what did he do? He bends Bimendi to allow Eze and Odegaard cook through the middle. Unfortunately, Odegaard suffered the injury to his knee. I think he even traveled with the Norway team, but just to watch the games and all that. And I really wish him well, a speedy recovery, obviously, to our captain. But the idea of bringing Odegaard up here in this scenario is the fact that because of the flexibility of our current system, Gabriel Jesus is someone that will be a very, very big asset to the team. Gabriel Jesus fits perfectly to our attacking fluid rotations, unlike a traditional poacher. Even though he's not a first choice in the team, Gabriel Jesus has the ability to cover multiple roles and can be very valuable to us in a season that requires us competing for 4 different trophies. Arsenal is in the Carabao Cup, Arsenal is in the FA Cup, Arsenal is in the Premier League, and Arsenal is in the Champions League. And you saw when we played against Port Vale in the Carabao Cup, we saw how Mikel Arteta overhauled the entire lineup. Kepa Arrizabalaga was in goal for his Arsenal debut. Ben White, Lewis Kelly were the fullbacks. Muslera and Saliba were the centre backs. If Nkapie was fit, that would have been his debut in that game as well. In midfield, we had Eze, Nogard, and Waneri, while in attack we had Martinelli, Saka, and Merino. If Gabriel Jesus was fit, he certainly would have played in such a game because obviously Arsenal wanted to rest a couple of more players. And that's the key thing to understand here. Having him is a very, very good thing tactically. He knows how to play to his coach's instructions. Of course, we saw that in Man City, where he played in the wing as well, as also mentioned to be the centre forward. And that's happened at Arsenal as well. He can play on the left to cover for an injury crisis. He can play on the right as well and be in attack. So tactically, having Gabriel Jesus is a coach's dream. So what's my verdict? If Palmeiras offer us a reasonable fee and Gabriel Jesus agitates for regular minutes, then maybe a loan with an option to buy could benefit everyone. Arsenal can still believe that maybe he can get back to his best. So selling him might be a tad premature. For now, the best move is patience, at least until the summer. I was watching Charles Watt's video early on Saturday morning where he spoke about Gabriel Jesus. And there was something he said which was very important, that Arsenal needs to be patient enough to stick with him till the summer at the very least. Gabriel Jesus is someone that has missed football for the best part of 1 full year. And when he comes back in January, he will want to make up for lost time. Let's not forget that prior to his injury, he was already scoring goals. He had scored a goal against Brentford. He had scored a goal against Crystal Palace in the league. He scored a hat-trick against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup. And he was cooking. Havertz also suffered an injury after the warm weather training in Dubai, which meant that we had to rely on Mikel Merino till the end of the season. And of course, we know how we struggled. If we had a Gabriel Jesus in our team in that run, I don't really think Liverpool might have still won the league potentially, but Jesus would have offered us a whole lot more than Merino in attack. So my own thought process is that we should be patient with Gabriel Jesus. Let us at least give him between now or when they come back to fitness, somewhere in January till May, and see how much he was able to contribute to the cause. I believe that the squad we have right now is deep enough to compete on all fronts, and having someone like Gabriel Jesus is going to be a plus for us. So, what do you think? Should Arsenal loan, sell, or keep Gabriel Jesus? Please drop your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to All About Arsenal for more Arsenal content. I'm also pleased to inform us that we're getting to 500 subscribers. I'm in the third or fourth month of running this channel, and I'm very, very grateful to everyone that has been part of this journey. International break is still on, quite boring as always, but we can't wait to get back to football again. So till then, come on, you Gunners.